No one expected to see them together again, not after everything that happened. But on October 18th, Dave Grohl and Jordyn Blum walked the red carpet side by side in Los Angeles, and for a moment, the world stopped to take it in. This wasn't just another celebrity appearance. It was a quiet, powerful statement, a moment that said, "We're still here." After a year of public heartbreak, private healing, and endless speculation, the Foo Fighters frontman and his wife of 21 years made their first joint appearance since the revelation that nearly tore their marriage apart. And this time, it wasn't about fame or image or music, it was about redemption. Because what happened between them was the kind of scandal that usually ends Hollywood marriages. But somehow, it didn't. This is the story of how one of rock's most beloved icons faced his biggest personal failure, and how the woman beside him found the strength to forgive. This is the comeback that no one saw coming. For over 2 decades, Dave Grohl and Jordyn Blum seemed to have it all. They weren't the kind of couple you saw in tabloid drama. They were private, grounded, and deeply devoted to family life. Dave, the energetic, smiling frontman of Foo Fighters, a man who turned tragedy into music and built one of the most respected rock legacies in history. And Jordyn, the creative force behind the scenes, a former producer and designer who carved out a peaceful, stable life away from the noise of fame. Together, they raised 3 daughters, Violet, Harper, and Ophelia, and became one of those rare Hollywood families that felt real. Whenever Dave spoke about his family, his tone changed. He wasn't the loud, joking rock star anymore. He was just a dad who adored his girls, and a husband who couldn't stop smiling when he mentioned his wife. In interviews, he called Jordyn his grounding force, the reason he stayed balanced through years of touring and fame. And fans loved that about him. He wasn't just a legend on stage, he was a man who seemed to have figured out what truly mattered. For 21 years, they represented something steady in an industry built on chaos. The idea that even in rock and roll, love and loyalty could last. But then, the secret came out. In September 2024, the world stopped when Dave Grohl posted a message that no one saw coming. On Instagram, he revealed that he had recently become the father of a new baby daughter, born outside of his marriage. It was a confession that broke the internet, and broke hearts. Grohl wrote, "I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter, born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I am doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness." Those words, honest, painful, and raw, marked one of the most vulnerable moments in his career. Fans didn't know how to react. The man who always stood for integrity and family values had just admitted to betraying both. For Jordyn, the world learned the discovery wasn't new. She had known for a while. But when the news became public, everything changed. Friends described her as shocked and heartbroken. She leaned on her close circle of friends, people who were like family to her, as tabloids exploded with speculation about a divorce. At one point, sources said Dave had even consulted a divorce attorney before the news broke. And for weeks, it looked like their marriage wouldn't survive the fallout. The betrayal cut deep. This wasn't just gossip, it was personal. The man she'd built a life and family with had shattered her trust in the most public way possible. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of walking away, Jordyn paused. As one insider told People, her first instinct was that she wanted a divorce. The betrayal felt too heavy. But as weeks passed, she got some space to think. And it just felt very sad to her if the family would split up. It wasn't forgiveness yet, but it was the beginning of something rare, the decision to try. The months that followed were quiet, intentionally quiet. No interviews, no statements, no appearances, just silence. Behind closed doors, Dave was doing what he'd always done when life fell apart. He put his head down and worked on healing. He devoted time to his daughters, volunteered in Los Angeles, and poured his energy into rebuilding trust with Jordyn. Those close to him said he was devastated, ashamed, and determined to make things right. Jordyn, meanwhile, focused on her family and her own peace. She was surrounded by friends who believed in marriage, people who told her that sometimes forgiveness is the bravest choice of all. By November, sources revealed they were working toward reconciliation. And slowly, piece by piece, that seemed to be true. They were seen together again at Wimbledon in July 2025. No big announcement, no PDA, just quiet presence. And then, 1 year later, came that moment no one expected, their return to the red carpet, side by side. At the Hope in the City of Angels charity gala, Dave and Jordyn looked calm, composed, even content. Jordyn wore a belted mini dress and a graceful updo. Dave kept it simple in black. They smiled, posed together, and for the first time in a long time, they looked like a team again. Dave was honored that night for his volunteer work, a reminder that despite his mistakes, he was still trying to do good. He even auctioned off handwritten lyrics, pledging the proceeds to help the homeless. And when fans saw the photos, they couldn't help but notice the unspoken message. After all the chaos, they had found their way back. Forgiveness is easy to talk about, but almost impossible to live out under the weight of public judgment. Yet that's exactly what Jordyn Blum did. A year after the world found out about the baby, a close source confirmed, she's forgiven him. They never wanted a divorce. The idea of splitting up their family was too sad for both of them. They love their girls, and they're both great parents. It wasn't instant. It wasn't simple. It was the kind of forgiveness that requires time, pain, and a willingness to rebuild from the ground up. Friends say Dave begged for her forgiveness, and meant it. He didn't just apologize, he changed how he showed up. And over time, that mattered more than words. Now the two seem to be in a place of peace, not pretending the past never happened, but proving that it doesn't have to define them. Their story isn't about perfection anymore. It's about endurance, accountability, and the quiet power of choosing love over pride. In the end, the story of Dave Grohl and Jordyn Blum isn't just about scandal, it's about what happens after. After the shock, after the anger, after the world has already decided how your story should end. They had every reason to walk away. 21 years of marriage, 3 daughters, and a public betrayal that could have ended everything. But instead of letting the headlines define them, they chose something harder. They chose to rebuild. Dave Grohl once said that music heals the soul. Maybe that belief carried into his marriage. Because what he and Jordyn have shown isn't perfection, it's persistence. He made a devastating mistake, owned it, and spent a year trying to prove that remorse can be more powerful than pride. And Jordyn, instead of letting bitterness consume her, decided to fight for her family, even when the world was watching her every move. Their recent appearance wasn't just a red carpet moment, it was a symbol, a quiet, powerful reminder that even in a culture obsessed with canceling, some stories don't end in destruction, some end in forgiveness. It's rare to see a Hollywood couple survive this kind of storm. Most crumble under the pressure. But the Grohls did something few expected. They faced their pain in private, healed in silence, and returned not as perfect partners, but as human ones. Maybe that's why this story resonates so deeply. It's not really about fame or scandal anymore. It's about love, fragile, flawed, and sometimes reborn in the ashes of betrayal. So as cameras flash and fans debate, one truth stands out. Dave Grohl and Jordyn Blum didn't just survive a secret that could have ended them, they rewrote the ending entirely. Because in a world that feeds on downfall, redemption is the rarest headline of all. And now, the only question that remains, would you forgive if the world was watching?